What's going on, my homies? What's up? It's your boy Adam, back at you once again for another episode of Chaos to Comeback. Gotta make sure they're in the right order. I want to go come back to Chaos again. That's not happening. Definitely more comeback these days than Chaos. It feels so much better to have that than a couple months ago when it was more Chaos than Comeback. If you're new to the channel, this channel is just the ramblings of a madman who went to federal prison for almost 2 years for posting mean tweets on social media. And when he got out of prison, he was thrown out into the street to be homeless for 5 months. Lost everything, starting over. At 49 years old, starting life over from zero, from less than zero, worse than zero. Because if I was just at level 0, I would be able to go get a job. But when you have a felony from the federal government handed to you, then that's not a thing that you can do anymore. So you got to figure out something. And they'll throw me back in prison if I don't. So you want to get the live up to the minute breaking news. It's live stream is Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 to 9 Eastern. If you're on the West Coast or whatever, you figure it out. Do the math. No commercials during the live stream, only during the replays. If you're late to the party, that's your punishment. If you want to watch it live, if you want to get with it, you want to watch, you don't want to watch commercials, I don't even know what the commercials are. YouTube picks them out. So I might be talking shit about some company and then you'll see a commercial or an ad for the thing I talked shit about. That might happen. I don't know. Probably I talk shit about everybody, so it's probably going to happen one of these days. You want to get in touch, adam@litgood.com. Check out my photography on litgood.com. You want to drop a couple bones in a digital chicken bucket so I can go get hookers and blow and everything else I waste my money on. Donate.litgood.com and shop.litgood.com if you want to buy something. So here's the plugs. Give the thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff that the YouTubers got to tell you to do, but it works. If I tell you to give me the thumbs up, I'll get a bunch more thumbs up, but then a bunch of people will give me the thumbs down just because they forgot to do it. They're like, oh crap, I'm supposed to give them a thumbs down. So I'm reminding everybody, give me whatever thumb you want to throw it. I do notice that more thumbs down show up when I remind people to give me a thumbs up. So more thumbs up will show up, but the ratio goes out of whack because a lot of the trolls show up and be like, oh fuck, I forgot to give them a thumbs down today. Got to make sure, and I got to go back like 6 videos and I forgot to give them thumbs downs. So whatever, it all adds up. There's no such thing as bad press anymore. Speaking of no such thing as bad press, Ozzy Osbourne is no longer with us. Now, it's July 23rd. You're watching this sometime next week. I told you I'm not going to give you the late breaking up to the minute news. I'm not going to be... I'm basically... What am I? Am I the same as the newscaster that shows up at a high school the day after a school shooting with the news van and the satellite dish going, we're live from the place where some shit happened yesterday, but we're standing in front of the building where nothing at all is happening right now. As you can see, there's caution tape and we can't go any further and we can't show you what's inside the building right now. They're still cleaning up the mess, but we're live from where some shit happened yesterday. And why are we live standing here in front of the building when I could be sitting in front of a desk at the news studio? I don't fucking know. So that's what I'm doing. I'm the guy who shows up like 3 days after the school shooting to talk about whatever happened. So Ozzy is gone. He's no longer with us. And I talked about this in my last video. I'm not going to recap what I said, because you need to go back and watch the other video if you want to see that. So it's right in the beginning. So, when you're done watching this video, go back and watch that one, and then watch every single video on my channel. And don't do anything else with your life. Just watch all my videos so I get paid. That's all I'm talking about. So, speaking of money grab, getting paid, Ozzy's dead. And the thing I've noticed, now that he's been gone for 24 hours, they're not wasting any time, are they? There's a money grab going on. Every time a celebrity dies, there's money to be made. There's cash money, prizes, and all of that. Now I'm seeing ads all over the place to watch the Osbournes TV show. Remember when they had before the Kardashians, before any of that crap, they followed Ozzy Osbourne and his wacky family around and made a TV show out of it. And that was like the first time they did that. And so now they're like, now that Ozzy's dead and everybody knows he's dead, we got to get everybody watching this show again. There's some ad money to make there. Imagine if, it'd be like if I died and all of a sudden my YouTube channel started getting 2 million views on all of my old videos. There'd be a whole bunch of ad revenue piling up for my kids. You know what I'm saying? So now that Ozzy's kids lost their dad, there's money to be made. And so they're pushing that Ozzy Osbourne TV show all over the place all of a sudden. And there's probably I'm sure in old Ozzy Osbourne albums and vinyl records and shit, I bet the sales are going through the roof right now. A Black Sabbath record that you could get at the $2 bin at a fucking record store, you can put it on eBay today and get $700 for it. Today only. Maybe 3 days. You got a 3-day window on that. When Hugh Hefner died, another big name that died a little while back. Hugh Hefner died, and I had a massive video game collection. Thousands of video games. So I had the Playboy the Mansion video game for the original Xbox. I owned that game. And people were selling these for hundreds of dollars on eBay the day after Hugh Hefner died. And, this was a shitty video game that you would find in the $2 bin at the video game store that they were just trying to get rid of. It was the game was a total piece of shit. It was kind of funny to play a couple times. I had a couple of girlfriends that came over. They're like, oh my God, we got to play this. And you get to bang a couple chicks and whatever, and you run around the Playboy Mansion banging whores and stuff like it's what you would expect. And it was funny, and we got a good laugh out of it for about 20 minutes. Then it went back on the video game shelf and never got played again. It was a shitty game. We went back to playing Grand Theft Auto because it's more entertaining. You do all the same stuff, but it's a way better game. And that week that Hugh Hefner died, I could have put my copy of the Playboy Mansion video game up on eBay, probably got $250 to $300 for this game. And then a couple of months later, when all the hoopla dies down and everybody forgot about it, I could go back to the video game store and pull another one out of the $2 bin and bring it home and put it right back in the slot where the game was missing from my shelf for a couple of months. But I just didn't even have time to do that. But every time a celebrity dies, there's a money grab going on. Oh, we got to get that dollar. We got to get that bank. Got to make that money. You got to get that Skrilla, homie. Every time someone dies, there's a rush to capitalize on that person's death and gobble up as much money as you can. You've got 2 weeks to go on a money-grabbing marathon. All this Ozzy Osbourne money's flying around now and all this shit. You got... if you've got the body of the bat that he bit the head off of, now's your day. Put that shit up on eBay. There's going to be there's probably 10 headless bats on eBay right now, all claiming to be the bat that Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off of, with a whole story behind it and a fake Ozzy Osbourne. You're going to see it on Pawn Stars. Someone's going to walk into Rick's pawn shop this week with a dead bat mounted on a fucking plaque, missing its head, a picture of Ozzy Osbourne next to it, and a signature saying this is the bat or something. I mean, they're gonna want like $50,000 for it. Rick's gonna be like, let me call in one of my experts. Come on in and take a look at this. Then you're gonna watch 20 minutes worth of commercials. It'll be the very last thing on the show. The expert comes in, he looks, he's like, that's total bullshit. That's not the bat that he bit. So you can look at the teeth marks right here, and I've got Ozzy Osbourne's dental records right here, and if you hold them up against the bat, it doesn't match. And look at the signature, it's missing this little squiggly thing here, and Rick's like, well, the best I can give you now is $5. Guy's like, well, I think I'm just gonna hold on to it because I know this is the bat. And he's gonna walk out the door with a fake bat that he paid $6,000 for on eBay the day after Ozzy Osbourne died because he's a fucking idiot and he fell for the scam. If there was a cave nearby that I could just go take a bunch of fucking bats and rip the heads off of them, I'd be getting some thumbtacks and some little push pins or whatever, getting some shellac or whatever, and I'd be printing out pictures of Ozzy, a crazy picture of Ozzy Osbourne on my inkjet printer on some nice photographic paper, and I would make like a diorama, like one of those shadow boxes, and I'd make like 20 of them and sell them for $6,000 each, all claiming to be the bat with the missing head that Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off of. And, someone's going to buy that shit, hang it up in their house, and about a week after they buy it, it's going to smell like a corpse. There's going to be all kinds of mold and shit growing inside the shadow box, creeping up the corners, but they're just going to be like, well, that makes it look cooler. That's Ozzy right there. The moldy corners of the box, and there's probably a spider web now up in the corner with a black widow spider that crawled up in there and made a web to catch the flies that are flying around trying to eat the body of the dead bat. There's money to be made when a celebrity dies. That's all I'm saying. And I'm already seeing the cash grab the day after he's dead. And I'm just like, get the hell out of here with that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to segue from that to where I want to go next. I'm watching comments, and yeah, I mean, it's a good thing Ozzy Osbourne could sing and had a band, because otherwise he probably wouldn't be able to get a job. Could you imagine Ozzy Osbourne going on a fucking job interview at like Burger King trying to get a job, or Target, or Walmart, or pretty much anywhere besides Black Sabbath. Anywhere besides the Black Sabbath audition, he's probably not going to get hired. So it's a good thing he made all that money with his band, because otherwise he didn't have anything. And so somebody left a comment on a recent video. It says the guy is a Scott Ayers stuff. And I was talking about living in a time warp where time is just going by so fast I can't even figure out what the hell's going on. And it was kind of a sad post. And but I can relate to the things this guy's saying. He says, for me, time is moving way too slow because I've been blackballed from getting a job. So I'm stuck in house prison without enough money to go anywhere or to do anything. I'm only 60 and I feel like I've been alive for twice that long. When you're in purgatory, time passes agonizingly slow. I wish time would pass much faster. And that's, I feel bad for you, because that's no way to live. And people think, Adam used to have all this money, blah, blah, blah. No, I was broke. Most of my life I've been broke. I went through a brief period where things started to go in a positive direction from about 2015 to 2022, I guess. And even during that time, it was a fucking roller coaster. I'd be on top of the world, at the bottom of the barrel, back up, back down, back up, back down, never in a straight line. There'd be months where I'd be like, how the fuck am I going to pay rent one more month here? I don't even know. And things didn't really, I don't know, things just magically worked out, but there was no like, it wasn't like traditional America where you save up for your retirement and you got your 401k and your IRA and your, your 1094 and your WD-40 and all that shit. Like, I didn't have any of that. I was just riding. I was holding on to the bar of a fucking roller coaster, hoping I didn't, with no strap over my shoulder, hoping I don't fall out of the thing when it goes upside down. And that's how I'm still living my life. There's just never been a day in my life where I didn't feel like that. Whether there was money in the bank or not. There were a couple of times where I could make 20 grand a month. And then all of a sudden life would turn around and I would have 16 cents in my bank account and I wouldn't have any work or business for 6 straight months. And I had to juggle 8 cents from my bank account that had 16 cents, put it in a different bank account because that bank account was going to go negative by 25 cents. But that 8 cents would keep that bank account from going negative. And then because if it did go negative, I'd get hit with a $35 fee every day that it's negative. And by the time I even was able to put the money back in, I would have already lost the money that was going to go back in because the bank would have just whacked me with, $500 worth of fees. So I had to move the 8 cents from the account with 16 cents so that I'd have 25 cents in the other account so that when the bank fee, it was a bank fee that was going to come out, I had to have enough money to pay the bank fee. And if I didn't pay the bank fee, that would have snowballed into like $500. And then when I did get money, I would just be paying the bank fee and I'd still have 10 cents in the fucking bank account. I've been there. I mean, I just gave you details that you wouldn't even be able to I wouldn't be able to make that shit up. It actually happened. I was dating this fucking rich girl who she'd be bored and she'd get a first class plane ticket and fly to New York City and take a fucking limo down to Manhattan to go to shop at Tiffany's and go get a $10,000 purse from the Chanel store and stop and get a frozen hot chocolate at Serendipity and then take the limo back to the airport, take a first class flight back to Pittsburgh and, just say, because I was bored, I had a day off, I just wanted something to do. And then she would we weren't in the same planet. We didn't have anything in common. It was like Princess Leia got together with Han Solo. That's what she called it. I was her Han Solo fetish. Some broke ass smuggler riding around in a junky fucking spaceship. But I had balls and I didn't give a fuck about anything. So she was attracted to that. But she was just a stuck-up rich princess who, never really left the planet of Alderaan her entire life, lived in the glass castle and everything. And I guess it was like a novelty to date a poor guy. And so I said to her one day, I'm like, have you ever had to worry about money a day in your life from the day you were born till today? And she's like, no, not really. Because, she just flew to New York City to go get a $10,000 purse and come back because she was bored. Just on a whim. Just go to the ticket counter. Here's my gold card. Got your ticket. Okay. Call and book the limo before I get to New York. I'm coming. Are you coming into LaGuardia or JFK? Of course, JFK. Who fucking flies to LaGuardia, right? That shit. And I was like, so you've never woke up and looked at your bank account and seen that you had 16 cents in your bank account, but your other bank account was going to get hit with a bank fee and you needed to move 8 cents from that bank account to the other bank account. So the 75-cent bank charge or whatever, the monthly maintenance fee or whatever, wouldn't cause your bank account to go negative and allow them to charge you $35 a day until they racked up $500 worth of overdraft fees. No, I can't say that I've ever felt like that in my life. You never been late? Ever been late on a bill? Ever had to pay your electric bill a month late? No, of course not. Of course not. Well, I've been there. I know how all the people in the ghetto get away with paying their bills 6 months late and keeping their electric turned on, because that's what I used to have to do to keep my electric turned on. All the same shit that the crackheads in the ghetto have to do to well, if I give you $20 today, can I keep my lights turned on for another day? You know, I had to do that shit. I've been there many times in life. Who knows? I'll probably be there again now that I can't get a fucking job. I mean, it hasn't happened yet. It's just a matter of time. But anyway, when I was broke and had no money to go anywhere or do anything, I still did all kinds of shit. I still went all kinds of places. I still had all kinds of fun. Like, if I had 10 cents in the bank and that's the only money I have, that would not stop me from going out and having fun today. You ever see the movie Half Baked? This movie's great. Dave Chappelle gets a date with this hot girl, and he realizes he's got like 45 cents to his name, and he's gonna go out with this high maintenance bitch on a date. And he's like, fuck it, let's go. And he goes out, somehow he finds, I think he stole money from a homeless guy. He found some change on the ground. I don't know. They have like a running tally of how much money he has for his date in the corner of the screen. And he's like, at some point he started out with like 40 cents, but now he's up to like $1.50. And somehow he goes out on this date with this girl, and he ends up getting a kiss from her or something at the end of the date, and he made it. And he didn't go broke. I've had the same date. I've had the same fucking date. There was this hot chick. She wanted to go out. I was like, let's go out on Friday. She's like, I'm not available on Friday, but we can go out Thursday. And I'm like, well, how about Saturday? She's like, no, I'm going to be gone this weekend, but I really want to meet you. And I'm like, well, how about Sunday? No, can't. I'm like, because Friday was the day I was going to get paid. Thursday, I've got 50 cents. 50 fucking cents in the bank. What the fuck am I going to do? This hot chick wants to go out on a date. I don't want to say no, but I got to pretend like I'm some, high roller or whatever, because she's probably high maintenance. What do I do? So this was back in the day. Banks were slower. You would withdraw $20 from an ATM machine. It would take 6 weeks to show up on your bank statement. This was, man, I don't know. I was in my early 20s. So I had a check cashing card from the grocery store. So if I had a paycheck, when you signed up for your shopper's card at the grocery store, they would ask you, do you want check cashing privileges? Back in the day, you could, cash checks. So I could get a paycheck from my job and go cash it at the grocery store. They had check cashing places all over the fucking ghetto. I don't know if they do this anymore, but you could get a check, go to a check cashing place in the ghetto, and with your ID, if you had a driver's license or whatever, or even a state ID, you could basically pay $20 to cash a $100 check. And it was like a pawn shop kind of situation with a big, thick, bulletproof glass window, and anybody can cash any check basically. And if you bounce a check with them somehow, then you're out. You're cut off. You can't. You're on the do not bargain with this person list or whatever. And so back in the day, I had to do that once or twice. This is what poor people go through. So the grocery stores were in on the check cashing game, except you could get a check cashing card, your shopper card that you scan to get all your grocery discounts. You could attach check cashing to that. And you could take your paycheck that you got, if you got a paper paycheck and you needed cash money now and you couldn't wait for the bank, like you deposit your check in the bank and then they hold on to it for a week and then they give you your money and then it's available in your checking account. Banks used to do that. They still do to some extent. You could go to the check cashing place, hand them your paycheck, and the grocery store would charge you like 50 cents to cash the check. And they'd give you all the money in cash except for the 50-cent fee to cash the check. Well, I found out at some point before this date that you can write a check to yourself and go to the grocery store and go up to the bulletproof window and go, yeah, I need to cash this check. And you literally write the check to yourself, from me to me, today, blah, 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 give it to them, up to $50. You could do up to $50. Now, they have computers and stuff, so I'm assuming that if you went to more than one location of the same grocery store and tried to do it twice in the same day, you'd show up in their computer system as, you already done it over there, why are you doing it over here? You know what I mean? But, so Thursday night, I'm going on this fucking date. Roll the dice. Just roll the dice. Roll them bones. I went down to the grocery store. I walked in with a check written to myself for $50. Go up to the window. I'm like, here you go. I need $50 right now. I didn't have the money to cover the $50, but I'm getting paid tomorrow, so I should have the money. And this was back in the day. You give somebody a fucking check that takes like a week to come out of your bank account. It's called kiting. It's not legal. People would do it all the time. So I go to the bank, I go to the store with a check to myself, $50. Here you go. I need money now, cash money now. So now I got $50.50 in my pocket to go on this date. I should be all right, but I need gas. Like my car is just about, the gas tank's empty, so I'm already out. I'll put $5 in the gas tank, see if I can slide on through. So now I'm down to $45. Chick wants to go out to some fucking restaurant or whatever. I'm like, shit, where are we going? Can't be McDonald's, but it can't be filet mignon. You know, where do we go? What's in between? I don't remember where we went. I don't remember. And I'm just like poking and prodding. I'm watching this fucking balance go down. It's like, well, I had 50. Now I got 45 after I got gas. Now we went out to dinner. Now it's 25. So now I'm down to my last $20. And she wants to go to the bar. And I'm getting a little bit nervous because are we gonna rack up a $25 bar tab and all I got's a fucking Andrew Jackson to throw down on that shit? And then what's gonna happen? So I'm like, all right. So I picked like the diviest of dive bars, 25-cent fucking rum and cokes, whatever the fuck, like a bunch of old men with their dentures laying on the fucking bar and whatever. I'm just like, all right, we're here. We're at the bar. It's my favorite place. It's a good bar. We can play some darts, whatever. We can, whatever. I mean, we were having a good time. It wasn't a bad date. It worked out. We ended up going out on several dates, and we had a thing going on for a while. So it was a success. But it was the same thing as Dave Chappelle. I'm watching. There's like this little bank balance in the corner of the screen, and I'm watching it go down and down and down. And then she's like, I'll get this round. Woo! So I'm like, yes. I'm not like, so when she gets that, I'm like, give me a big ass beer that's going to take me a long time to drink, because I can squeeze out like another hour and a half out of this date, and my bank balance is still going to be like $15 here at the top. And I'm going to say when I got home that night from that date, or maybe the next morning after that date, I don't remember how that went. But let's just say, when I got home from that date, I had like $4 left in my pocket. Whoo! And then like the payday came, I got my money in the bank, got my paycheck. Like 4 or 5 days later, the $50 check that I wrote to myself came out of my bank account and didn't bounce, and everything was good. But this is how I used to have to fucking live. So let's just say that you got no income at all. No income at all. And you're broke. I've been there too. And like, if you got enough money to put gas in the car, or even not, one of the things, I love to do this anyway, but especially if I'm broke, I go camping. I'm not kidding when I say I went on a road. I hate telling these stories because it makes me seem like I'm an idiot, but I gotta, I'm trying to help somebody, give them advice. Where did I go? I think I went on a long bicycle ride. I'm going to give you two fucking examples because one just popped into my head. I went on a bicycle ride. I think it was a long bicycle ride. Or I went camping for a weekend. That's what it was. I went on a long ass camping trip. Probably like a week or something. I don't know. And I came home. And when I came home, there was a big red notice on my fucking door saying that my electricity had been shut off while I was gone. So I don't even know when they turned off the electricity, but I forgot to pay the bill or whatever. And it was one of those things where I was already late on the bill and I was juggling like, hey, can I give you $50 now to keep it on for another few weeks and all that kind of, well, it caught up to me when I was gone and I forgot. So while I was gone, it must have been like more than, they gave me like a 3-day notice or something, but the notice was on the door and then the red thing was on the door saying you don't got electricity anymore. I'm like, fuck, I just got home. I was looking forward to being home and I'm like, shit. And I had a girlfriend, kind of like a girl friend at the time. And we were supposed to go out and, she was supposed to come over and hang out tonight. I'm like, shit. I didn't want her to know that my electric had been shut off because that makes me, it's kind of like makes you look like a loser. And I just came home from a camping trip. Just came home. I hadn't even taken anything out of the vehicle yet. And so I'm thinking, it's Friday. I was planning on being home for the weekend and just chilling before I had to go back to work. But my electricity's off. I'm not even going to get the electricity, I'm not even going to be able to turn it on until like Monday. And so I call up the girl and I'm like, hey, I was thinking, you want to come over and hang out for the weekend. Why don't we just go camping? I'm like, why don't we just go camping? I'm like, we can get a nice campsite at the state park over there and we can get a fire going. We'll make all kinds of food. Well, blah, 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 blah. And we'll have a good time. And the fun, I had the money. I got paid while I was on vacation or whatever, direct deposit. So I had the money to pay what I had to pay to get the electric turned back on. The problem is it's Friday night, Friday, 7 o'clock at night, some shit like that. This girl's ready to come over. And I'm like, shit, what do I do? The gears start turning. I don't want to have her come over to my dark, poor bastard, irresponsible asshole, had your electric turned off because you're a fucking idiot house. I didn't even want her to know that it happened. So I'm like, yeah, I'm looking back at the vehicle. I'm like, shit, we can go camping. I'm already packed and ready to go. Let's do this. And so I call her up. I'm like, hey, why don't I pick you up? We'll go to this state park. It's beautiful. There's a great view. We'll have a campfire. We'll make some fucking s'mores, blah, blah, blah. We'll have a great time. And that's what we did. We went camping for the whole fucking weekend. Come back late Sunday night. She goes to her place. I come back to my powerless house. And so I'm like, I'm tired. I'm just going to go to bed. And I didn't really care. I'm camping still. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still camping. I got candles going around the house. I've got the crank fucking radio. I'm jamming to some tunes. I've got, I'm walking around with a flashlight, and the water still works, so I could take a shower. I took a fucking hot bath by the candlelight. Pimping, big pimping. No electricity, still big pimping. Go and brush your shoulder off. I didn't care. I didn't let it bother me. Monday morning, first fucking thing, I'm on the phone with the electric company. I pay the bill over the phone, and they're like, we'll send somebody over. When I came home, electric is back on. Good to go. Didn't skip a beat. So, another time, I went camping on a canoe trip, and it turned into the canoe trip from hell. And I've talked about this on the channel before, but I'm going to try to make the long story short. I went on a canoe trip down the Shenandoah River in Virginia with my best friend, and it went to shit. We ended the trip early. I lost a bunch of camping gear, etc., etc. I drove back to Pittsburgh. I went to REI. I bought a bunch of camping gear. I got back in my vehicle. I don't even think I went home. I drove straight up north to the Allegheny River, threw my canoe in the river with a bunch of new shit that I just bought and my bicycle, and decided to go on a canoe trip for a couple days because I still had time to kill. I get back home. I go to work the next day, Monday. I don't even know how this happened. I don't know. Something happened. I got an alert from the bank or whatever. Basically, I had no money. I don't know how I may have bought the shit at REI with cash. I don't remember how this all worked out. I may have had a big wad of cash because when I go travel someplace far, like Virginia, I'll take cash with me because, cash will get you home. And now that I'm home, I think I just spent the cash at REI because I found out that the government took all the fucking money out of my checking account while I was in Virginia. So I'm down in Virginia, and somehow I didn't need any money to get I had already had a full gas tank, I guess. I don't know how this happened, but somehow I went all the way from fucking Virginia all the way back to Pittsburgh, went to REI, bought a bunch of shit, drove a 2-hour drive north to go canoeing for 2 fucking days, got on my bicycle, rode back to my vehicle, and then drove home, and then drove to work the next day, and then I found out that the government took all the money out of my checking account. It was gone. All of it. Gone. All of it. Because they're claiming that I was late paying child support, but I wasn't, because they took the fucking child support right out of my paycheck, so I couldn't even pay them. It was basically just government incompetence. They took all the money out of it. The government can do that, by the way. If the government thinks that you owe them money, they can just go into your bank account and take it all. No court order, no due process, no getting a letter in the mail saying that they're gonna do it. They'll just do it. They just show up one day, take all of your money, and then you wake up the next day penniless. And then you have to fight the government to get your money back. And that was a fucking nightmare. I had rent coming up, and I couldn't make my rent payment, but thankfully my next direct deposit was Friday, and here it's Monday, and I got zero in the bank, but my direct deposit will cover my rent payment, so I'm okay. But I had to fight to get that fucking money back from them. Get a fucking lawyer involved. I couldn't even begin to fucking tell you, but somehow I was in Virginia. I must have had enough cash to pay for my trip, because I did not, especially back then, I did not like to rely on cards to go on long trips, because cards might get shut off, case in point. But somehow I went from Front Royal, Virginia, from Harpers Ferry, Virginia, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, all the way down to like somewhere in Virginia, Shenandoah River, really far south, 2 hours south of Harpers Ferry. drove all the way back to Harper's Ferry, drove all the way back to Pittsburgh, had to sleep in a parking lot because it was the middle of the night. I slept in a parking lot near Laurel Caverns on top of some mountain in Pennsylvania because I was too tired to drive. Woke up, drove to REI, got a bunch of camping gear, and drove straight up to the Kinzua Dam at the top of Pennsylvania. Went on another canoe trip by myself with my bicycle strapped to the fucking canoe, got on the bicycle, went back to the Jeep, came back home, got my canoe first, and then drove home, and then drove to work the next day. I think the fucking canoe was still stuck to the Jeep because I was too tired to take it off. And then I found out my bank account was empty the whole time. The bank account was emptied out on Saturday, and here it's Monday, and I fucking zigzag all up. Somehow, I don't know how it happened. But I was broke, didn't know I was broke, and I was able to go camping all over the fucking place with no money. I don't know how I did it, but it's a true story. And I'm still like dumbfounded by how that was Jesus right there. That was God. Like, God saved me. And I can't even begin to tell you how many different ways from Tuesday God saved me in that situation. That's so many things could have gone wrong. So many things did go wrong that weekend, but things could have been much, much worse. Much worse. So camping, hiking, going out to the woods, into the wilderness is perfect for me, especially when I'm broke, because it's impossible to spend, it's more or less impossible to spend money once you're out there in the woods. That's that. Things can happen that cost money, like the time that the squirrel ate the ignition coil wires on my Wrangler, and all of a sudden my Jeep was misfiring, and I was like, oh, I can't fix it now. It was either a 20-mile hike for me and my 10-year-old son to go back to a town, 20 miles on a dirt road, just to have the chance to get a cell phone signal and maybe find someone who could help us, or drive that motherfucker till the engine falls off. So I chose drive the motherfucker. We drove all the way back to town, pulled into a parking lot. I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going wrong, but it was just like chitty chitty bang 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 bang. And I'm like, shit, I don't know what's going on. My Jeep's dying. We got to get home. So I couldn't fix it. I'm like, fuck it, we're going. We drove all the way home, 45 more miles, going like 30 miles an hour. Bang, 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 all the way home. Parked it. And then I'm like, well, it got me home. I may as well take it to the garage. Bang, 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 bang. I get to the fucking garage. They're like, yeah, sounds like your shit's fucked. I'm like, all right, well, let me know. Now that I'm home, I've got bicycles, I got my Mini Cooper in the driveway. I'll be okay, but I'm still nervous. I'm like, holy shit, what's wrong with my Jeep? They called me half an hour after I just got home on my bicycle. They called me, they're like, your Jeep's fixed. I'm like, get out of here. They're like, yeah, a squirrel ate one of your ignition coil wires, and we were able to splice it back together and throw a heat shrink on there. You're good to go. If it happens again, you're probably going to have to replace the wiring harness, but for now, you're good. Everything works. We checked out your engine. You know, you could have got a whole bunch of gasoline built up in the cylinder from the misfire, but you're fine. The Jeep's running smooth and perfect. I go and I pick the thing up, and it was perfect, and I drove that thing for years after the fact, and I'm like... Once again, the good Lord saves the day. We got, I don't even know how that happened. So, camping, that's like my favorite thing to do when I'm broke, or as close to broke as humanly possible. So, if I was broke, but let's say, you can find what you need in your house to go camping. Especially if if you've had enough time in your home to accumulate some things. But let's just say if all I could afford is $50, I'd go to Walmart, and if I had nothing already, I have camping gear. I could go camping right now, it would cost me $1. But if I had $50, I'd go to Walmart, I'd get a cheap ass backpack, And then I'd look for like the cheapest tent, the cheapest, smallest tent that I could cram into it. If I can't afford a tent, I'll go looking for tarps. Can I find a hammock, a cheap hammock, and a tarp? That would be even better than a tent. Can I get a cheap ass hammock from Walmart and a big tarp for less than 30 bucks? Probably. The hammock might cost a few bucks. The tarp's gonna be like $5. Get in fact, the cheapest tarps are gonna be the thinnest and the lightest to carry. So now food. You want food? Dry goods you need to boil some water for. If you got a cooking pot at your home that you don't care that much about, does it have a metal handle? Now you can cook food. You got water? Can you camp next to a creek? You can make food. You can find some pasta, some cheap box of mac and cheese. Not the mac and cheese with the powder cheese that you need milk for, but the cheese packet that you just squeeze out the cheese and it tastes better anyway. You can get those for like 75 cents a box for the generic brand. Now you're not getting the Velveeta, you're not getting the Kraft, you're getting like Good Value Time or Happy Day or whatever, Good and Gather or whatever junk brand, but it is what it is. I've done it. You got a camping pot, you got some mac and cheese, you got a little stainless steel cooking pot. You can find them you can find a camping pot at Walmart to cook, but you can find one for $1 at a thrift store. You could probably go to Goodwill and get some of the stuff that I'm talking about for pennies on the dollar. Get a cheap ass back. Go get a fucking. Who cares? Go get a My Little Pony backpack or a Transformers backpack for 50 cents or $1. Whatever you got to do. Find a tarp. Find a hammock or a tarp and a sleeping bag. Whatever. A sleeping bag. Take a blanket. You got blankets? Take a fucking blanket. Take a thick blanket. Use it. You don't need a sleeping bag. Fire starters. You got a lighter? If you like to smoke cigarettes, you got a lighter. Boom, you already got it. If you smoke weed, you smoke cigarettes, chances are you got a lighter. You got lots of them. So, covered. You got some Vaseline and some cotton balls. Or you got Vaseline and some newspapers. You can buy a bag of fucking Doritos and you can use Doritos potato chips as a fire starter because they got so much grease in them. You can start fires. You can use a Doritos chip or a Fritos chip as a fucking fire starter because it takes a long time for them to burn because there's so much grease in them. Ramen noodles, mac and cheese, anything that's not perishable that you can boil to eat. You can go camping for the weekend for like $1.50 worth of food, maybe $3 if you want breakfast. You might have food in your house you can take, some shit you got to get rid of, whatever. The one thing you might want to do is get a basic water filter because water's heavy. So if you try to take a gallon of drinking water, then it's going to be heavy. What happens when you drink all the water? How do you get more, etc.? You can get a Life Straw at Walmart for pretty cheap. You can get a water filter with a bag that attaches to it so you can squeeze the water through the filter to fill a pot to cook with. But if you boil water, if a creek is clean enough, you can just go like dip your cooking pot into the creek if the water's running clear, put it on fire, and when the water's boiling, that kills any bacteria and shit in it. So you're good to go there. I'm a little picky about water, streams, creeks, that kind of stuff. So I try to filter my water all the time. But you can get water filters cheap or as expensive as you want them to be. The sky's the limit in terms of money. But they start at like $20, I think. Life Straw. The Life Straw, basic Life Straw filter is like a big straw. You just stick it in the creek and drink out of the creek like you got a straw. But they do make other versions of that where it's a straw with a bag on it, and you fill the bag with water, and then you squeeze the water through the straw, and that's how you filter your water for cooking and stuff, or filling water bottles or whatever. So there's different ways to do that. Take some water purification tablets. Those are dirt cheap. You can find them at Walmart. So go camping. If you're broke, just go enjoy nature. Go fucking find a place to camp and set up a camp and then sit by a camp. There's plenty of free places to camp. And I'm talking about like national forests. There's all kinds of places. If you're willing to put on a backpack and walk, then pretty much anywhere you camp, just start walking. Go to a YouTube channel. The guy's name is Steve Wallace. This guy makes a whole YouTube channel about camping anywhere he fucking feels like camping. It's like, I'm gonna camp in the middle of this island, in the middle of an expressway where there's a clump of trees, and I'm just gonna camp here, and nobody's gonna find me, and nobody's gonna stop me from doing it, and I'm gonna make a fucking YouTube video about it, and fuck you, government. He does that every fucking day. He'll camp in the middle of a roundabout in the middle of a city where there's some trees to hide him, and he'll do that. He'll camp on people's private property. He'll camp anywhere. He does this for fun. You can camp in the middle of your town in a public park where you're not allowed to camp, and nobody's ever going to know you're there. They're not paying that much attention. I mean, you got to use a little bit of knowledge and brains and smarts. All the homeless people in Jamestown had like 1 or 2 camps set up, but they were like obvious. They were right out in the open. Everybody fucking knew they were there. You could drive by and see 100 people camped out, all in the same spot. So if I was gonna set up my homeless camp, I would just go down the way, cause walk, just go for a fucking walk, and boom, here's a spot of woods where I'm gonna be completely by myself. I can have a fucking campfire, I can make some food, I can chill. If I was into meth and drugs and all that stuff, I could, I can get high as fuck if I wanted to. Nobody's gonna know I'm there. I would not camp in the cluster of homeless people where they all camp together. Just go a mile down the road and there's plenty of fucking woods. So yeah, if you don't have any money for gas in your vehicle, put a bag together, go for a walk. Guarantee you could be in the middle of fucking Manhattan and find a place to camp. I guarantee you, I could make a YouTube video of going to Manhattan on a bicycle and camping in New York City. I could do it, no problem. I already know where I'd go. 10 different places to go, easily. Am I gonna get stabbed? Am I gonna get mugged and robbed? Probably not. I say that, probably not. They say a lot of that. People say how dangerous it is and blah, blah, blah. They want to scare you. The world isn't as scary as people want you to believe it is. Like, I showed a video, or I talked about a firefighter who rides his bike to work 75 miles to the fire station, and I was talking about how, like, it was on the news, and I'm like, they're not telling you some shit. He doesn't ride his bike 75 miles each way to go to work an 8-hour shift and turn around and come home and then turn around and go back. There's things they're not telling you. He probably rides 75 miles, works 3 or 4 days, maybe rides his bike home, but if the weather's gonna be bad, maybe he calls the wife and says, hey, can you come and get me, and blah, blah. Like, he's got a backup. Some people were saying he lives out in the desert. It's so dangerous to ride your bike out there. There's all kinds of snakes and animals and this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, snakes and animals and wild boars and all these dangerous animals. It's like, do you think that when you open the door to your house and you go outside, you got to look around because you're about to get attacked by all these fucking animals? Have you ever actually been on a hike? Have you ever been out in the fucking woods? You know how many miles you have to hike? Do you know how many days in the woods you have to spend to see one animal? Even a fucking deer. I can go camping 10 weekends in a row and, I saw a deer that one weekend. A deer, and the deer is the one you're gonna see. Those are the animals you're probably gonna see. You know how many times I've seen a fucking bear in my life in person? A bear, not in the zoo, but out in the woods, camping. I would say like, I don't know, less than 10. Less than 10. And you're talking to somebody who used to spend his whole summer out in the fucking woods. Year after year after year after year. I could go a whole summer, maybe see I could go a whole year and see maybe see a bear. Maybe see one. Depending on where you went, sometimes I might see 2 or 3 in a period of time. But it would take, like, I would have to go out for like 20 straight days living in the woods to maybe see a fucking bear. And if I did see 3 bear in one outing, it would be because they're habituated to people being in an area and they're basically on their rounds looking for people's trash. That's when you're going to see them more often. And they're not afraid of people. They're still afraid, but they're like, they know that they know when it's quiet on the road, they can come out, see what people left behind. And if you happen to be camping there on a quiet day, you might see one. But on a day where everybody's camping, you won't see them. But anyway, I digress. The point is, you could put me in fucking Manhattan. I'll find a nice campsite in Central Park. The cops won't know I'm there. The homeless people won't know I'm there. I'll have a view of the fucking lake with the skyscrapers in the background. I'll be chilling. I won't set up a camp. I won't pitch a tent until it's like 2 a.m. or so. You know, I will make sure that no one's gonna know I'm there. And then as soon as the sun comes up, I'm taking my tent down. I'm packing up, and now I'm just a guy riding his bike in Central Park. No one knows. No one knows I slept there. That's how you do that. But it's done. I can tell you, I can give you a dozen places to camp in New York City. Because every time I go for a fucking walk somewhere, every time I'm out riding my bike, I'm like, oh, that would be a good spot. That'd be a good spot right there. Boom. I got an eye for it. I've done this. You have to do it. If you go on long distance bicycle rides, you're going to get stuck at some point not being able to get where you wanted to get. And you're like, shit, I'm going to have to sleep. I guess I'll sleep here. It's happened. It's happened to me more than once. And I can find some nice spots to camp. Happened to me on the Shenandoah River once. I was going down the Shenandoah River by myself. I had my bicycle in the canoe. I don't want to be on a river at night. Do not want to be on a river at night. I was trying to get somewhere. I couldn't get there. So I'm like, shit, what do I do? That looks like a good spot. I pulled up. It was good tree cover. You couldn't see me from the river. It was at the bottom of the hill. There didn't look like it was all woods. I'm like, this is a spot. I'll camp here. I set up a little campsite, fire, got some food going, whatever. I started to notice there were like these piles of stuff in different spots. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? But at night, I didn't really think about it too much. I was just like, I was cool. I just went to sleep. Next morning, I'm like kind of walking around, scoping out the spot I just camped. I look and I'm like, those are fucking cow patties. There's like a cow plop here and a cow plop over there and over here. And they're kind of just, I'm like, holy shit, I'm on a fucking farm. I'm looking around, I'm like, and then I'm like hallucinating because I was a little bit out of it that morning and I thought I saw a bunch of cows in the river. And I'm like, holy shit, and it was just rocks. But I had it in my head. I'm like, I hope there's not a bull. I hope I don't have a fucking bull with big horns showing up, goring me in my tent. Because I got a little paranoid, and then I thought I saw a cow in the fucking river, and it ended up being a rock. And I'm just, oh, okay, it's just a rock. And so I'm like, oh shit. And I just start packing down my camp and getting everything all put back in the boat. And I take my time. But I'm moving. I want to get out of here. And so I had a GPS on my wrist recording my whole trip. So when I got home, I'm like, I'd already put a waypoint there. And when I get home, I go to Google Maps and I look and I'm like, no shit. I'm in the back fucking lot of a farmer's plot of land. And the farm had a big open field at the top and then it slopes down and goes down to the river. And that was all woods. but you could see the fence line and everything, and the cows are allowed to come down and get right in the fucking river, and that's where the cows go to cool off. And you see this along the Shenandoah River. You'll see cows in the river all over the fucking place because the farmers let the cows go swim in the river. And they don't have a fence at the back of the farms. The cows can just go get in the water, and they do. And so I'm like, shit, I gotta get out of here. And so that was a free campsite. I don't think I would ever camp there again, but it's marked on my map of the Shenandoah River of, well, if this is all you got, it's a possibility you could camp here. Me and my best friend on our canoe trip, we had to camp at a place like that. The sun was going down. It was starting. We were both like, fuck, and we weren't going to get where we wanted to go. And I was like, look at that. That looks like a spot to me. Okay. We didn't know if we were on someone's private property or not or whatever. We set up camp and we camped there for the night. No problems. The next morning, I had a pistol with me, a .380, and we're like, let's take a few shots. Bang, bang, bang! We're like shooting a fucking gun out on this little fucking spit of land out in the river. Well, we wake up early in the morning. If this is someone's private land and there's angry farmer coming down the way, like, is he even going to be able to find us back here? Bow, bow, bow! And we're just like, who fucking cares? We're going to be in the boat in 5 minutes and gone anyway, so who cares? We did that. That's how we camped. I had the waypoint. I can actually go to Google Maps right now, call up that old map, and go, bang, that's where we were camping, right there at that spot. And you can see, oh, there's the farmer's house, there's his land, and you can see it all comes back, and we're on this, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, it would have been a pain in his ass to come back to where we were, because look at all the foliage between us and the back of his field, etc. And we know how thick the brush was, and there wasn't really any obvious way to get from where we were camping to like anything. And so we were pretty safe back there. And it's Virginia. People hear gunshots. They're like, oh, whatever. Someone's shooting a gun. No big deal. Me and my friends, we used to meet in the South Side in Pittsburgh. In the city, in the South Side. We'd find a parking space in the back of the neighborhood where we wouldn't have to pay or worry about the street cleaning or getting a parking ticket or whatever. And we'd all have backpacks. And we'd go for a fucking walk. And we'd walk up to Hayes Woods. This plot of fucking woods up at the top of the hill. And we'd set up a fucking campsite and we'd camp up in Hayes Woods overlooking the city. We'd have a camp, we'd be sitting by a fucking campfire drinking beer after hiking up to the top of this hill in the middle of the woods, looking out at the whole city of Pittsburgh. Oh, there's the Cathedral of Learning in Oakland. And we'd just be sitting there chilling with a campfire, chilling, sleeping in a tent or a hammock or whatever. We'd spend the night up there Friday night, maybe go hike on Saturday, go camp somewhere else up there. And then we'd go walk back to the cars on Sunday and go home. And if you lived in the South Side, you could just leave from your fucking house. I lived like 5 miles from this place. I could have walked to it from my house. If I was ambitious, I could leave at like 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and be at that campsite with my camp set up, fire going, beer, the whole thing. I could probably do it by 8 o'clock, no problem. No problem. 11, 12 on 2. Shit, you could probably do that in like 3 hours. You could probably leave at like 2 in the afternoon and be there by 5. 6 miles, 3 miles an hour, stopping to pick up a couple beers, whatever, taking a break, rest, whatever. Easy. I know if you're 60 years old, maybe not so easy, but I'm almost 50. And I'm riding my bike 25 miles each way to a bakery to work 8 hours and then ride 25 miles back. And I'm 49, so if I keep it up, I'll probably be able to do that stuff when I'm 60. I see people on their bicycles that are 70 years old. So, I see it. I'm not saying, you might have to work for it, but if you got a car and you can just drive and you got $5 worth of gas, you can find a place to camp. So there's stuff to do. And I'm telling you, I enjoy sitting in the middle of nowhere in the woods with no internet and no phone and none of that. Maybe some music. If I'm by myself, I'll have music because I need something. I can't just have pure, but I will sit in pure silence for stretches of time and just enjoy silence and nature. And especially after coming home from prison, the only thing you want when you come home from prison is to be in a quiet place, because you don't hear what quiet sounds like. For 20 fucking months, I never heard the sound of what quiet sounds like. Not one time. Not one single time. Not even in the prison library can you hear quiet and understand like what quiet sounds like. You can't even sit in the prison library like that with your hands over your ears and hear what the sound of quiet is like. I didn't get to hear what quiet sounds like until I came home. And the first day that I was home and my ex went to her job and I'm sitting in the apartment all by myself, I was just like this the whole day. Like just dumbfounded. Completely fucking dumbfounded that this is what quiet sounds like all of a sudden. And I just sat like that for the whole fucking day. Then she comes home and starts screaming and yelling at me about how I didn't take a shower. And I'm like, you have no fucking idea what the hell just came out of your fucking mouth. Why didn't you take a fucking shower? I haven't even heard what quiet sounds like for 20 fucking months. Not one fucking time, not 1 minute of quiet. Not once, not one time. I went 14 months without seeing the sun. Have you ever gone 14 months of your life without seeing the sun? And knowing did you forget what the sun looks like? I forgot what trees look like. I forgot what the color green looks like. 14 fucking months I didn't see the sun. The first time I saw the sun, I was like that. I sat on a fucking bench because they took me to a different jail where they let us go outside for an hour a day. And the first time I went outside, I sat on a bench. I was like a deaf person hearing for the first time, like a blind person who got an operation and can see for the first time in their life. That was me for an hour. An hour. I was like sitting on a bench. I was so out of shape, I couldn't walk around the fucking track that you could go out and walk around. I did one lap around the track. I was like, and I sat down on a bench and I'm like, for a whole fucking hour. I was the last one to go back inside the jail. The guards had to like say, hey, it's time to come, time to go in. Fuck. And then I had to wait until tomorrow until we got our outside time. And then I started walking, and that's when I started to lose a little bit of weight. And then when I went to like federal prison, like Club Fed, where we had a gym and you could go outside whenever you want, generally speaking, and all that stuff, I was like on it. I was outside every minute that we could be outside, I was outside. Because it was just like, the first time I saw a sunrise, I might have had tears coming down my eyes. I was completely by myself, out on the track, outside, and the sun was coming up through the woods, and I was like, oh my God, that's what it looks like. A sunrise. Not the sun itself, but a sunrise. I haven't seen a sunrise for closing in on 2 years. So yeah, I came home from prison, and the first day I was home, I'm left alone in an apartment, and I'm sitting there in a chair, and I'm like, I never turned on music, I never turned on the TV. I sat there in a fucking chair, dumbfounded by how quiet was. Just like unbelievable to me. It was just so surreal. And then she comes home and she's like, why the fuck didn't you take a shower, you fucking dirtbag, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, holy shit, bitch. You gotta be fucking kidding me right now. You gotta be fucking kidding me right now. That was so fucking ignorant. I don't even know where to begin. Why didn't I take a shower? Because I didn't get around to it yet. Fuck off. Yeah, I was supposed to get my life back. I was supposed to take a shower, go downtown, get a fucking job with no car, no driver's license, didn't even have a bicycle. It's a 6-mile walk down to the town, you know. First day I'm back, it's snowing outside. Yeah, great. Yeah, that was my plan for the day, was to get I should have had all my shit, got a new 6-figure job. Everything was all fixed. Everything was supposed to be fixed at the end of the day on my first day back. Wow, man. So anyway, camping. If you're broke, you can go camping. You can go on a walk. You can go on a hike. You can go outside. There's shit to do. I was broke living at her apartment. I'd need to get the fuck out of there from time to time. I'd go to church. I'd go hike down to this park. This park had a frisbee golf course, but I couldn't afford frisbees. But I was like, damn, if I could get a couple of discs, or if somehow my discs had survived, my disc golf bag had survived the FBI raid, I'd have been down in that fucking park every day, throwing discs, playing disc golf. Why not? In fact, she wanted me to get the fuck out of the apartment from time to time so she could have it to herself. Well, you should have saved my fucking frisbee golf bag. I would have been down there every day. You'd have had the whole place to yourself. I would have played 2 rounds. It's a 9-hole course. I would have played 2 rounds, got 18 holes in, come back. I've been gone for like 3 hours. But instead, I would go for a walk. I would go down, chill at the park. I'd go for, I'd do things. But there's free things available. You can play frisbee golf if all you've got is one fucking frisbee. Just go and have fun. You don't need a bag full of it helps to have a bag full of frisbees of different styles and types. And you can get really into that shit, but frisbee golf is free. I've never seen a frisbee golf course that you had to pay for. Public parks all over the place have frisbee golf courses. You can get a starter pack of frisbee golf discs. You get a putter, a driver, and a mid-range disc, all in a package of 3, and it's like $20, $25, get you started. Now you got all the frisbees you need to go play frisbee golf. It's free. I guarantee you, if you live anywhere near a town or a city, there's at least 3 or 4 places to go play frisbee golf for free. It's big now. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I can't even count the number of places I could go play frisbee golf in Jamestown. I guarantee you, if I looked, there's probably, at my friend's place, there was a frisbee golf course walkable from his place. But I didn't have frisbees, and I want to spend the money on it. But I could go play frisbee golf when I lived with him. It was like 2 miles down the road. There's frisbee golf everywhere, and it's free. There may be a frisbee golf course somewhere you got to pay to play. Probably incorporated with a regular golf course. I think every now and then a regular golf course will have a frisbee golf course mixed in with it. So if you don't play regular golf and your buddies want to go play golf, you can go play frisbee golf and you pay your greens fees and you go with your frisbees instead. I know some golf courses do that. That's the only time you'd ever pay. Or if you lose your frisbees in the woods or whatever, that's going to cost you some money too. But it doesn't happen as often as you would think. Get really bright colors, white, yellow. Don't get dark colors. Don't get a green frisbee. Yeah, that shit's gone. It goes in the woods one time. Good luck. Get a bright yellow frisbee. Get white frisbees. Bright colors that you can see easily if they go in the woods. Pay attention when you throw your disc. Know where that shit went in the woods. Walk straight to that spot and then start looking around, because you'd be surprised. You'll find other people's frisbees back in the woods too. It happens all the time. I'd say half of the frisbees in my bag were found frisbees that I found when I was looking for my shit that went off in the woods. Oh wow, look at that, it's a new one. Sometimes I would lose my disc, but I would find 2 new ones, and I'd be like, that makes up for it. I'd still look for mine, and then I'd eventually give up, but I'd end up finding 2 new ones. So it was I still made out with more money from my mistake. But yeah, you can camp in public. Go play frisbee golf and look at how many places you could camp out in that park that you're playing frisbee golf in. Probably 100 different places you could set up a tent. Nobody would even know you're there. Don't be obvious and don't look shady. The day I became homeless, I got shaken down by people out in the country as I was walking down the road with a giant backpack and trekking poles. Some dude in a pickup truck came down a driveway, pulled up next to me and rolled down his window. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? Nice day for a hike, huh?" And all this friendly shit. He was shaking me down. He was polite, but he was checking to see if I was some homeless bum looking to set up a camp on his farm. That's exactly what this fucking dude was up to. He wasn't being like the friendly neighborhood pickup truck guy out in the country. Welcome to rural America, fine young sir. No, he was looking to see if I was going to be pitching a tent in his fucking field. That's what he was shaking me down. He didn't say that, but he knew, I knew, we knew. We knew what was going on there. But the funny thing is, even though he shook me down like that, I would have gotten away with it. If I wanted to camp in his fucking field, I would have done it. I already knew where I would do it. And I knew that he wouldn't know I was doing it. That's the funny thing. I would have been in and out. He would have never known I was there. I could have done it 3 nights in a row and he wouldn't fucking know. Even if he let the dogs outside, they wouldn't have found me. And even if they did, they'd have kept their fucking mouth shut because I'd hand them a fucking Slim Jim or something like that and be like, good boy. Now go back home. And then like the dogs would just, instead of coming at me barking, they'd be like creeping up on me looking for another Slim Jim. So I got all the bases covered. I know how to do this shit. I've done it many times. I can tell you story after story after story. I just shared a couple. Be selective about a campfire. Don't set up camp until the sun's about to go down. Pick your spot, claim your spot, chill. Just have your bag sitting there, your bicycle, whatever. Just act like you're taking a break. Like you had to go take a piss or whatever. Chill. Scope it out. Listen. Are there people around? Where are they? Look at, if you got an internet connection, look at Google Maps. Where's my danger zone? Oh, there's a house over there. Is this their land? Whatever. Don't camp somewhere if there's a posted sign and it's obvious that you're on someone's private property. You might get shot. Public park, different story. Different story. But if there's posted signs all over the place, just keep walking. You'll find something. Campfire. Be careful. Don't keep it small. Don't have a raging fire. A small campfire, you could be 50 feet away from it and not see it. They don't give off that. They give off a lot of light where you are sitting, but if you walk 20, you can walk 20 feet away from your campfire and not even see the light from it. And then you've got to count, if a person from the road looks in, there's all these fucking trees and foliage and brush and leaves and everything else. They're not going to see the campfire as they're going by. And then if people going by in their cars, they're paying attention to the road. They're not looking in the woods to see if someone's back there. So it feels like there might be people coming on you. But they're not going to bother you. Nobody's going to know you're there. If it's dangerous to start a fire and you can't put it out, don't do it. There was a spot where I was stealth camping and the whole ground was like dry pine needles. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, if I start a fire here, I might set this whole fucking forest on fire. And then I'm going to have to get out. I'm going to have to get the fuck out of there. And I'm never going to be able to upload my GPS to Strava. Fuck no. So I can't have a fire here. There was a lake, but it was way down this hill. I could see it from where I was camping. But I'm like, damn it. I got to pick up all my shit and go down to that lake if I want to have a fire, because then I'm right by the lake and I can have a fire. But now if I want to have a fire, I'm on the shore of a lake. And now if like the DNR or the water patrol is out at night, they're going to see a little dot. Because that you can see that. You can see a campfire on the shore of a lake from out in the lake. So I was thinking if Johnny Law is out in his fucking boat going around the lake, he's going to see my campfire. Unless I come in and I block it somehow. I mean, I'm kind of going through this, and I was tired. I just rode my bike 140 miles that day, so I was tired, and I'm like, I don't need a fire. All I got to do is lay down, and I'm out. So that's what I did. I woke up covered in snow the next day. Long story there. Fires. It's easy to not see a fire. The way a fire is going to give you away is when you light a fire, the smoke coming up above the trees or whatever is going to give your position away. People are going to see that. Big dark fucking column going up in the air. Boom, someone's got a fire. What's going on there? Nobody's supposed to be back there. At night, nobody's going to see the smoke from your fire. And if people smell the campfire, because it will travel, a campfire can travel. If you have a fire in your backyard, people that live 2 miles away might smell the smoke from your campfire in your yard. I smelled, if I live out in the country, I'll smell campfire smoke, or somebody's got a fire in their yard and I'm looking around trying to see where it's coming from. But it's common out in the country to smell a campfire smoke or a bonfire smoke or someone's burning shit in their yard. So you won't, if you're that hillbilly mentality, you're going to be out there, you're going to be like, oh, someone's burning something. And you're just going to go about your fucking business. You're not going to be, who's out in my woods? You're just going to be like, oh, the McGregors down there on the other side of the way must be having a little fire tonight, cooking out some burgers or, whatever. Nobody's going to fucking think to go traipsing out in the woods looking for the guy who started the fire. Unless shit gets lit because you done fucked up and you put a fire where you shouldn't have put it. So wait until it's dark. Right before the sun goes down, set up your camp, string your hammock, set up your tent, whatever. Hide your shit. Try to make sure that nobody can see you and that you can go for a walk around. How can I see me? Can I see my bike? Can I see my tent? Is it blocked? Go out to the road, look in. I can't see shit from here. If you can't see it and you're looking for it and you know where it is, nobody walking by is gonna fucking see it because they're not looking for it and they don't know where it is. So use your common sense. You can you can camp anywhere. Fucking do it. Steve Wallace, look at his website. It'll blow your mind, the places he goes camping. He does it all the time. He does it for clicks. I could have a channel like that. I'm on federal probation now, so I don't want to catch a fucking trespassing charge and then go through, I've never been caught, but do I want to roll that dice and then go back to federal prison because I was camping in a park? That would be pretty fucking lame, wouldn't it? Everybody's going to think I'm a child molester the day I walk in the prison because I'm a white guy who's middle-aged and, well, obviously he's a child molester, and then I'm going to have to be, no, I'm here for camping. Huh? That sounds like some bullshit, Holmes. You got some explaining to do there. I got to see your paperwork. And that's how that's going to go. Light discipline, flashlights, that'll give you away quick. You can see the radar detectors that the cops use to check your speed on the highway. The reason why your radar detector works and the reason why you can tell that there's a cop with radar way down the road, but the cop can't get your speed yet, pretend that the radar gun is a flashlight. Go stand on the opposite side of a hayfield. Shine your flashlight at the other person, the person on the other side of the cornfield, the hayfield, whatever, a big open field, let's say. You can see the light. You can see the flashlight, plain as day, on the opposite side of a field, far away. It could be 2 fields away, and you can see that flashlight. Can the person holding the flashlight see you if you're 2 cornfields away, standing on the edge of the field, plain as day? Can they point the flashlight at you and see you? Probably not. Probably not. The light has to travel all the way to you, bounce off of you, and then travel all the way back to the person looking at you in order for them to see you. And there's not enough light there for the eye to see what's going on. But you can see that flashlight, boom, plain as day. Someone's got a flashlight. They're 2 miles away. So it's the same thing with a radar gun. When a cop points a radar gun down the road, it's like he's shining a flashlight. You can see that fucking thing 2 miles away, and your radar detector starts going chirp, 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 because it knows, it sees that wavelength of light, and it goes, oh, something's going on up there. And then you slow down, and then like a mile later, you see the cop with his radar gun. Ha ha, bitch, I'm going the speed limit. Ha 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 ha. That's how they work. So it's the same thing when you're camping. If you don't want to be seen, you got to be careful with your flashlight. You can't have some fucking bright ass flashlight just woo shining that thing everywhere you want. That's how the enemy would get you in Vietnam. You got to have light discipline. You can have a campfire. That's hard to see from a distance, believe it, unless it's out in the wide open, like on the shore of a lake, and you're on the other side of the lake. You can see the campfire. But if you're 50 feet back in the woods, you don't see the fire. Use a red lens cover. A lot of lights have a red night mode. Put a cover over the lens. Put a fucking paper bag from the grocery store, just a paper bag, cut it out, put some tape on it, put that over just anything to give you light that you can see, but people fucking half a mile away can't see that light because it's dim, but you can see with it. And then your eyes will adjust to the night vision. You'll be able to see. You'll be able to see on a night with a full moon. You won't even need a light if you let your eyes adjust. So don't get caught by having a fucking flashlight just banging it around anywhere you want. Be chill. Use a red light. Put a cover over the light. Don't use the light. Whatever you got to do. Keep it light. Keep it tight. I like taking a hammock and a tarp because you can set it up in 20 seconds or less. Just zip between 2 trees, zip with the line, pull the tarp over, bang, you're done. You might want to put a couple guy wires down. You can tighten it up a little bit, but it takes like less than a minute to set up a hammock and a tarp. And with a hammock and a tarp, you can still see what's going on around you. If someone's creeping on you, you can be like, what's going on? And just look. If you're in a tent, you hear her, but you can't see, right? I have a bivy sack. It's really compact, but it's got a couple of tent poles. So it's like a tent that's like, not very far up off the ground. You can't really sit up in it, but it's not claustrophobic. It feels like you're in a tiny little tent. Sometimes it's hard to set up a tent because the ground's not even, and sometimes it's hard to set up a hammock because you can't find 2 trees that are the right distance apart. So sometimes when I was homeless, I had both. I had a bivy sack and a tent, and a hammock and a tarp, just in case if I have to make some sort of homeless camp. And who knows? If I wanted to stay for a few days, I'll set up the tent and the hammock, and have the hammock to just sit and chill in like a lazy boy chair, and then keep the tarp above me so if it's raining, I can just chill without getting wet. And then I have a tent where maybe I go sleep there to keep the bugs off me. But you can carry both in a backpack if you get them small enough. I would have 0 problem finding a place to camp from where I live right now. If I just wanted to go out to the woods, have a campfire, camp somewhere, I'd never be seen. I'd never be caught, for sure. It wouldn't even be hard where I live right now. It would be so easy, so fucking easy. But I'm out in the suburbs, and there's a lot of woods around here, and there's a bicycle trail going through the woods, and it's very remote. There's stretches of that bike trail where there's nothing but woods on either side of you, and no streets and no road. You have to go from this point to this other point like 6-7 miles away before you can even get off the bike trail easily. I don't know if it's 7. It's like 4 miles. I don't know. I don't know the exact distances, but it's back there. It's some woodsy shit back there. I could walk, no problem. Put on a backpacker's backpack like I'm going back there to fucking camp, and nobody would bother me. And if they did call the cops and said, there's a guy going back in the woods with a backpacking backpack, they could send the FBI back there. They'd have in a helicopter with FLIR and everything else looking for me, and they might not find me unless I had a campfire going. The FLIR camera on the helicopter would probably pick up on the heat signature of the campfire, but that's about the only way they're going to find me back there, and cops are fucking lazy. They don't want to get out of their car. So if you're 50 feet back in the woods, they're going to drive by, they're going to look out their window, and they're going to be like, no, I don't see anybody. Let's go to the donut shop. And that's it. I give up. That's the end of it. In the middle of New York City, like I said, I could go to Central Park and find a place to camp. Once again, the biggest thing, like, I'm not worried about them. I mean, yeah, there's homeless people, muggers, different shit you got to deal with, but find a place where there's nobody. It's there. Again, I don't know where. I don't have the exact coordinates. I would go there in like late afternoon, ride around on my bike, walk along, go like, oh, here's a spot. Boom. Make sure that you're nowhere near the pathways that the cops drive on at night. These fucking lazy ass pigs aren't getting out of their truck. They're not getting out of their SUV. Trust me. They be somewhere where when they shine that bright ass light out the driver's side window and sweep around, they're not going to see your tent. Plan that out. The park closes at 2 a.m. Lay low. When it gets dark, I would probably hesitate to have a campfire in Central Park, but I would be willing to bet I could pull it off. But the smell, that would make one hell of a fucking YouTube video, but then I would have to be in like Arizona hiding in the desert before I upload that shit to YouTube, because that's going to blow up and go viral. And then they're going to be trying to hunt me down to make an example out of me for having an illegal campfire and camping in Central Park, and then bragging about it on YouTube. So I'd probably keep that one to myself. But you could do it. Google it. Go to Google. I went to Google and I immediately came up with videos on how to stealth camp in Central Park. And people do it. People got videos posted of them themselves camping in Central Park, so it's possible. Some dude had a campsite right on the lake, the man-made pond lake thing in the middle of the park. Fucking beautiful view. The whole thing. I was like, damn, Holmes, that was perfect. Don't go walking through Central Park with a backpacker's backpack like you're going back there to camp. Take like a fucking laptop backpack or something that looks like a laptop bag, like I used to carry around Jamestown with all my shit in it. Have a laptop bag on your shoulder that looks like you're carrying a laptop and it's full of camping gear. That way no one pays you any mind. They just think you're some business douchebag on your walk through the park. You're actually going camping. They don't know. So yeah, I mean, that covers my topic for the video. It's an hour and a half. I hope that, I only covered camping, but that camping, going hiking, if you have a bike, going on a bike ride, you can get a bicycle for free. I saw a bicycle for $60 the other day, $60, an almost brand new, specialized, it would have been like a hybrid bike. It would have been the perfect bike for me to buy give it a quick tune-up and donate to a homeless guy or a homeless shelter or whatever I'm going to do. I don't have a vehicle to go pick these things up, but that's like the target right there. This is like the perfect bike to give a homeless person. An old school hybrid bike with index shifting, but really beefy and solid, like a Specialized, a Raleigh, a GT, you know, one of these major bike brands, a Trek. You can find them for cheap, $60. It was rideable. I could tell from the photographs that it was rideable right out the gate. If I put it in my work stand for 15 minutes, I could go on a ride, just check it out, make sure the brakes and gears work, put some air in the tires, bang, out the door. Because a lot of these people in the suburbs, they buy a bike, they think they're gonna go bike riding all the time, they do 2 laps around the cul-de-sac, and then it hangs up in their garage for the next 5 years, and they're like, I need to get rid of that thing because I gotta buy some new junk to hang in my garage. So they get rid of it for $60. You go pick it up, bang, you got almost a brand spanking new bicycle for $50, $60. That's probably the sweet spot. $100 at the most. Take it to a bicycle shop if you don't know anything. A $30, go to the local shop, the mom and pop shop. Don't go to the corporate bike shop. They'll charge you $200 to tune up your bike, and it takes them 15 minutes to do. Go to like the mom and pop shop, ask them what it needs, feel them out. I don't think you should, I don't know what the charges are these days for a tune-up, but I wouldn't pay more than $40, $50 to get a bike like that tuned up, especially when it doesn't need much other than a quick done. So everybody's happy. Learn how to work on it yourself. Learn how to do all the shit yourself. It's easy. You can look on YouTube. Every single part of every single bicycle that you want to learn how to work on and how to fix, it's right there. It's all on YouTube. So, I don't know, outdoors stuff, frisbee golf, camping, hiking, biking, going for a swim. Go to the park. Go to a park. Do you got a park where the people swim when it's hot outside in Pennsylvania? Me and my son could go to 3 different parks and go. My son loved to go swimming. There were 3 different lakes within a 20-minute drive. We would go there and go swimming. I'd get my work done. We'd leave at like 3 in the afternoon, go down to the park, go swimming till like 5 or 6 o'clock for free. It doesn't cost nothing. We'd take some food with us, take our folding chairs, go swim. He's happy, I'm happy. Pick up a fucking snack on the way home, or just make dinner when we get home, whatever. No money. We had to pay for the gasoline, and that costs some money, but I don't know, man. You can enjoy a lot of shit with no money, and I've had to do it. Like I said, I've been more than broke many times in my life. I've pulled off going on dates with no money. I've pulled off going on long-ass road trips with no money. Didn't know I had no money, but had no money. I've gone camping, no money. I can go up and down the East Coast. I would go all the way down to Florida and back, and the only expenses I would have were gasoline for my vehicle and food. And 90% of the food I'm bringing on myself, maybe stopping at a grocery store to stock up on some food, and once in a while, maybe going to a restaurant. And it would usually be on a whim, or your memory bank and your GPS database will accumulate places that are good to stop and eat. Like, oh, there's a burger joint. If I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, I'm going to Juicy Lucy's. Boom, that's a must. I'm going to Juicy Lucy's. I'm getting a Juicy Lucy burger with the mac and cheese and all of it, for sure. If I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, I'm going to Sweet Peas. I'm getting brisket, some pulled pork, some red beans and rice, and the mac and cheese, and I'm gonna get it to go, and then I'm gonna make mountain pies with that shit for the rest of my camping trip. So yeah. And if I don't have any money and I want to go out and enjoy life, I'll just go camp somewhere, and if I can't afford the gas, I'll fucking walk. I'll hike somewhere. We've done it. My friends and I, We can camp in the city of Pittsburgh. I could give you a dozen more places that you can go camping in the city of Pittsburgh. No one's going to bother you. No one's going to know you're there. You're sitting on the edge of the river with a beautiful view all night, watching the fucking boats go by, having a good old time, having a fire, having some fucking dogs, whatever you're going to do for food. You can sit on top of a hill camping next to your tent, looking at the view of the city, the bright lights. You can watch the fireworks from a fucking campsite in the city. You could have a campsite right in the woods next to Mount Washington, overlooking the city. Got to be careful because there's some steep cliffs that you could fall off there, but you can camp there, no fucking problem. No fucking problem. Even if people hiking saw you, and at night nobody's going to be back there. When the sun goes down, the only people that are going to be back there are going back there to smoke some weed, party, drink beer, and if they see you camping back there, they're going to be like, hey, you want to puff? They're going to be cool with you. So, like, you're the only people you're going to meet back in those woods at night are cool people like you, and if they're not, well, you know, take some bear spray, take a fucking gat, whatever you got to do to protect yourself, but that the world is not as dangerous as they want you to believe. Yeah, some people get mugged in Central Park. That doesn't mean everybody that walks through Central Park at night is going to get mugged. It happens like, I don't know how often it happens. I'm not going to look up the statistic. It's probably more often than I'm thinking. But somebody gets bit by a rattlesnake in the desert, and then Karen from the suburbs is like, oh, you can't go to the desert. That's dangerous. You're going to get bit by a rattlesnake. It's like one person got bit by a rattlesnake in one fucking desert in the whole United States in the last 8 months. And there's a lot of fucking deserts, and there's a lot of people walking around those deserts, and it's not like people are getting bit by a rattlesnake every fucking day. That's like saying every time you go swimming in the ocean, you're going to get eaten by a shark. But it happens. But the shark lottery, you have a better chance of winning the Powerball than getting bit by a fucking shark. Like, statistically, you have a better chance of winning the Powerball than getting bit by a rattlesnake, getting bit by a shark, getting mauled by a bear, getting ran over by a wild boar, whatever the fuck you're afraid of out there. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, because it can, but the chances are very slim. Ask anybody that goes out in the woods all the fucking time how hard it is to see an animal. If you had to survive out in the woods and eat animals to survive, you find out really fast, holy shit, there's no animals out here. What am I going to do? Because there's not. You don't see animals. They're afraid of you. They don't want to be around you. When they hear you coming, they fucking bolt. You don't see animals out in the woods. It's not like they want you to feel like you take 3 steps into the woods and you got to dodge a bear and a fucking buck comes charging at you with its horns all hanging out, and then a snake jumps out of the tree and wraps itself around your neck and bites you in the face, and that's what they want you to think. I've seen, in my lifetime in the wild, I've seen, I think, 3 rattlesnakes in my life, all in the same spots, on top of a mountaintop, on a sunny day, where the rocks are exposed and it's a cliff and there's lots of crags and cracks and places for them to hide, and they're out on the rock getting the sun and getting warm. And stay away. You'll see them. Stay the fuck away. Get some good pictures with a long lens. That's fine. They'll leave you alone. They don't come after you. In fact, if you walk towards them, chances are they're just going to go and down into the fucking cracks and the crevices of the rock, and you're never going to see them again. Now, I wouldn't recommend going digging your hands down in the crevices of the rock, trying to find them, but they're not coming after you. The bear, if you see a bear in the woods and the bear sees you, if it's a black bear, they're turning around and running. You're going to be lucky to say that you saw a bear. They're not going to attack you. 99 times out of 100, they won't attack you. I don't know what gets them to attack you. Rabies, I don't know. Like, they don't really attack people. They're scared of you. They'll run, just like a deer runs. When they see you in the woods, they're like, fuck this, I'm out. Boom, gone. Bears do the same thing. You still want to carry some bear spray. You don't want to take the chance that the one bear that decides to fuck with you, might. But it's rare. For every 1,000 people that see a bear, one person has a problem with a bear. Wild boar. I came up on a pack of wild boars out on the bike trail here. Somebody was like, oh, there's wild boar down there. It's dangerous. Yeah, okay. I came up on a pack of fucking 20 of them. They were all over the bike trail. I'm like, is those a bunch of dogs? No. Shit, those are wild boars. And I'm like, oh, I slowed down a little bit, rang my bell, and they were like, huh? And they fucking go running off into the woods. They're scared as shit. They're scared to death. You come up on them on a bicycle, they're turning around, they're fucking out. I think the only animal that actually attacked me on purpose was a bighorn sheep on a mountain outside of Las Vegas. And they saw me from like a mile away and they were like, the fuck is that? What the fuck are you doing up on my mountain, you motherfucker? And they just started charging at me. And I didn't fuck around. I was like, oh shit, I'm by myself. I don't know what. I went and hid behind a rock. I hurt my hand. I busted my camera lens, and it's a long story, but they could have just been bluffing. Like they could have gotten like 20 feet away and then just stood there like, what are you gonna do, motherfucker? Make a move, asshole. We're waiting. But I wasn't gonna take a chance. They closed the gap from like a mile away, 2 little white dots on a mountain that I looked through my long lens and could see what they were. 5 seconds later, they're like 50 feet away. I'm like, shit, I can't run that fast. So I'm not taking a chance. They got these big fucking horns. What are they going to do? Are they going to plow into me and try and push me off a mountain? I don't know. So I didn't want to find out. But it's rare. I mean, that's the one time that an animal tried to attack me in my life that I can remember. And I think I got chased by a fucking turkey once. Right? But that's about it. But anyway, I don't know. Nature's fun. It's free. There's tons of shit to do outside. If you're broke and you want to go out and have a good time and enjoy your life, it's pretty much free to start a fire, go out in the woods, sit in a fucking chair, and enjoy nature. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Peace out.